How's everyone doing? You alright? My name's Coda Lachey. I'm back again. Keep doing these videos now on things I've got, opinions of, but mainly like experiences of, I suppose you could say. Contacting you today over, it's just been the whatever he's called, that knobhead, George Osborne, doing the budget thing today. And apparently they're going to be opening 9 new prisons throughout the UK. Um, be on to with the intention of doing this like Germany, like segregating sentenced prisoners, prisoners that are like sentenced and everything else. And it winds me up because the truth of the matter is it's just more absolute rubbish. They're saying that it's to reform criminals, and so what's the point in building new prisons, right? The simple fact is they're gonna buy and make new prisons because it's going to. But what they're not telling you is that they're going to sell off X, Y, and Z. And I guarantee you straight now, because I'm a former prisoner myself, one of the prisons that will definitely close. Apparently, they want to close the Victorian inner city prisons. Now, let me tell you, I'm from Manchester, and HMP Manchester, aka Strangeways, a prison where I have spent time at Her Majesty's leisure. Um, will be definitely one of those that's closed. It was spoken about while we was in there. But the thing is, they're saying it's to reform criminals and they're going to give them more powers to reform criminals and courses. And no, it's not happening. Right? Prisoners are left to rot in prison. Simple fact. Lock down the doors 22, 23, sometimes over 24 hours of the day because there's not the members of staff to safely control us, apparently. The whole Ministry of Justice thing, these people like Michael Gove, a guy that governs prisons, that went to university to study this sort of crap, hasn't got a clue what it's like in the prison system. Just pieces of paper that come across his desk. That's all. Statistics and stuff like that. He's got no experience of anything. Winds me right up. I was in prison. Did they try to reform me? Did they try to put me on courses? Did they try to put me on one cleaning course? The simple fact is, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. The prison officers' morale is very low. They're overstretched, they're overworked, and they're massively understaffed, which has a knock-on effect for the lads because the lads are not allowed out, which then brings a lot of anger and everything else with it. But yeah, they just it's laughable. They should stay with the prisoners that are there, and if they're going to invest time and money into the prisoners, then do it. But they're not interested in all this. It's just a big thing for the prison, for the government to, oh, look at what we're doing, we're being proactive. No, you're not, mate. No, you're not. The only person that can, if you're in prison, right, it doesn't matter if you've got a bad temper or you've got a violent streak through you, or you're on drugs or you're an alcoholic or something, you go to prison. When you go out of prison, you're going back to doing what you was doing, mate. No amount of fucking courses and people doing, making you, oh, let's do a course, yes, brilliant, yeah, it's going to stop you being aggressive and angry. It's just it's a waste of time, mate. It winds me up, it does. What they should do is put you through proper college courses where you're going to get like nationally recognised qualifications, and then when you get out, actually, rather than when you get out of the prison gates, just like kick you to one side, which is what happened when I left the army. They should actually like there should be an employment people like group set up specifically to employ like ex-prisoners, because let me tell you, for the lads that come out, all they want to do is go straight and graft and that and make money, but then they've got the problem that they've got criminal records. So as soon as you look at someone, you go for a job interview, right? The thing is with the country, there's not that many jobs going anyway, and let's face it, the jobs that do become available that they do like that you can apply for, the amount of people that go for the jobs are like double what they used to be years ago, because double or treble, because there's not that many about, so people fight like hammer and tongue to get a job. But as soon as they look at, as soon as an employer is going to look at like your CV or something and see that you like, and then you've got to do the like on the like questionnaire, you've got to ask, do you have a criminal record? Then you've got to be honest and say yes. Straight away you crossed off. So what leads then? What happens then? What happens then for the lads that do what work? What happens? Criminal record? Well, I can't work when I've gone to prison and got a course behind me and got qualifications. I can't fucking work when because I've got a criminal record. So the lads just think, well, revert to type, go back to committing crime and everything else. And another thing that's came out of this budget as well, which makes me laugh, is there's apparently there's another 3.5 million or 3.5 billion rounds worth of cuts now. So that's your NHS doctors going, Border Force Agency, police, fire service. But the main thing for me on this one is the police. I mean, the simple fact is it is a green light for criminals to go out and commit crime. And I can't really comment on all the budget things. A lot of it doesn't speak to me and stuff. I can only speak about what I know about and have experienced. But yeah, there's less and less police officers on the street. There's another round of cuts coming. They're already overstretched, overworked, and massively understaffed now. I'm a former criminal, but from a criminal's perspective, it's a green light for criminals to go and commit these sorts of offences and stuff. And the chances of you getting caught or brought to justice are slim to none. And it's the government that are doing this. They're putting people's safety at risk and they're compromising people's safety. Now, what it's going to lead to is people bearing weapons or bearing arms in like a vigilante way because they're scared for the safety and they want to protect their houses and their families and stuff. And to be honest, I don't really blame them, but that's the way it's going to go. We live in a lawless country with no respect, little or no respect for the police. They do a very hard job under very sudden circumstances with a shoestring budget, but again, all funded, all controlled by the government. Now, like I say, these politicians, these MPs that do these fucking George Osborne and all these fucking idiots, what do they know about life, people? What do they know? They know nothing. They live in bubbles, mate. I've got a butler, I've got 3 houses. I claim everything on my expenses. It's a fucking joke, mate. A lot of it winds me up royal. When they're doing all these fucking cuts, you know what they should do? Start with themselves, mate. Start with themselves. Start with their salaries. Start with their salaries. Start with their expenses, right, and everything else, and fucking do something about it. Because the taxpayer, Joe and Joe Public, right, are getting shafted, mate. Mr. and Mrs. Joe Public are getting shafted, royal. The gaps between the haves and have-nots are getting bigger year on year on year, right? And it's the criminals and the bankers that are laughing all the way to the bank. It's people like you and I, people, that are fucking counting the cost and on their way to food banks and everything else. And it's a sad state of affairs, to be honest. The country that we live in is laughable. It really is. And we're just used and abused, people. Just take our money, we'll spend it on what we want to spend it on. When they hold duty on alcohol and stuff, it's only fucking beer and alcohol spirits that they drink. Yes, we fucked everyone out of. We're gonna do the tax bit out of 3.5 million. Well, no, we're gonna try and save 3.5 million, right? In a round of cuts, which are gonna obviously hit the civil servant, like public sectors and stuff, right? And then what they're doing is, so you don't have to pay any more for your pint, you don't have to pay 2p more for your pint, but we're taking away your police officers that are there to protect you. We're taking away the fire service that are there for if you have a disastrous fire and, do you know what I mean, and your life's in danger, or you have an heart attack and the paramedics aren't there because they're stretched out and stuff and they've not got it just fucking winds me up, mate. Winds me up royal. I just think, where's it going to end? Really, really winds me up, these things. I mean, like I say, with these new prisons, these 9 new prisons that they're going to build, right, wow, yeah, it sounds really good, doesn't it, to people? But then they're going to fund that by selling off bigger prisons, like Stranger is in Manchester, prime site, prime location, stone throw from the city centre, literally, right? that site would be worth fucking fortune. And then they're going to make these smaller prisons. They're not asked about reforming prisons. They don't give a shit. Right? They don't give a shit about reforming prisoners, right? They don't give 2 fucking hoots, mate. A prisoner's a prisoner, right? They don't give a shit about us. The food, the living, everything else, right? Yeah, you're in prison, granted. But give the lads a chance to reform themselves. The only people that can conform themselves are themselves. So it doesn't matter how many courses and how many fucking boxes you take inside and jump through hoops for probation and everything else. The simple fact is the only person that's going to change you at the end of the day is yourself. But I'm waffling on now. It just really winds me up, to be honest. And I'm sorry for going on, folks. But yeah, Just really, I just had to get this video because it's been doing me head in all day. But thanks for your time. Sorry to bother you all. Follow me on Twitter at Cody, Cody, capital A, Lachey, Lachey. Alright, people, take care. Bye.